नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवी सरस्वती व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीम् उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। Rajraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, titled as Explanation of Devotional Service, text number 5 and 6. Mata Devhuti is asking questions to his son, Kapiladev. Devhuti is requesting Kapiladev to explain her about the science of devotional service, the Bhakti Yoga, because she is very much compassionate, very much kind towards all the living entities. She experiences that people in this material world are suffering because of the three modes of nature, Sattva Guna, Rajaguna, Tamoguna, and three types of miseries, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. And living entity has to undergo this repeated cycle of birth and death in this material world and keep on suffering forever. Only way one can be relieved out of this repeated suffering of birth and death is when one takes up the devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. So Mother Dehuti is requesting Kapiladev. She is saying, Lokasya mithya abhimater achakshus chiram prashupatasya tamasi anarashye shrantasya karmashva anuvidhaya dhiya tvam avirshi kila yoga bhaskaraha. My dear Lord, you are just like a sun. For you illuminate the darkness of conditional life of living entities. Because their eyes of knowledge are not open, they are sleeping eternally in that darkness without your shelter. And therefore, they are falsely engaged by actions and reactions of their material activities, and they appear to be very fatigued. So here, Mata Devhuti is saying that people in this material world, they are sleeping eternally because of the ignorance. They are not awakened to the spirituality. They are not awakened to understand that purpose of human life is not just spending the time in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The purpose of life, human form of life, is to have Brahma Jignasa. And that can only be given through knowledge, through jnana. So she is requesting Kapiladev that you are just like a sunlight. When sun removes the darkness, similarly, you please give us the knowledge so that this ignorance can be removed. So here, Mata Devhuti is very much compassionate towards all living entities because they are in a regrettable condition of repeated birth and death without knowing the goal of life. Srila Prabhupada explains here that Devhuti is very compassionate for the regrettable condition of people in general, not knowing the goal of human form of life. And they are sleeping in the darkness of illusion, undergoing repeated cycle of birth and death. And it is a nature of a Vaishnava to be kind and compassionate towards all the living entities. So, people in the general, they do not know that the goal of life is not to increase the material necessities of existence, because the body will not exist more than few years. The body will be finished one day or other. It is just a matter of time. So, Srila Prabhupada says, Bhakti Yoga is just like a sun-like illumination for delivering the conditioned souls, who whose general condition is described here. They have no eyes to see their own interest. People in general, they are all busy in fighting with each other, having enviness, anger, cruel nature, killing the living entities. So their eyes are closed, lack of ignorance. So Mata Devahuti is requesting Kapila Dev that please give us the knowledge of Bhakti Yoga so that with the Bhakti Yoga, people in general who are suffering can be relieved. Srila Prabhupada says, sleeping in the darkness region, one does not get any refreshment, but rather gradually becomes fatigued. Constant sleeping makes one fatigue and also inactive and lazy. So here, ignorance is equal to sleep. When you are ignorant of spiritual life, then it is as good as you're sleeping. You are dead actually. Sleep is also compared to the death in the scriptures. When you go to sleep, actually one is dead because that time is removed from your life. So then further, when this conversation of Kapila Dev and Devahuti has been explained by Maitreya Rishi to Vidurji. So Maitreya Rishi further describes to Vidurji, Iti matur vachas lakshnam pratinandya mahamuni abhashe kuru shrestha pritastam karunardita. Maitreya said, O best among the Kurus, the great sage Kapila, moved by the great compassion and pleased by the words of his glorious mother, spoke as follows. So when Mother Devahuti was very compassionate towards all living entities, then Kapila Dev was moved by these questions and he further spoke to Mother Devahuti. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes about the compassion, selfless concern of Mata Devahuti. Mata Devahuti is concerned about all the living entities. So she's not concerned about herself. She's concerned about all the people in general. That is called as selfless compassion or selfless concern. So purport Srila Prabhupada is explaining about this nature of Mother Devahuti to worry about living entities at large. Generally, people are worried about themselves or their immediate family members. But when one is concerned about the humanity at large, that is generous, magnanimous. So here Srila Prabhupada writes, Lord Kapila was very satisfied by the request of glorious Mother Devahuti because she was thinking not only in terms of her personal salvation, but in terms of all the fallen conditioned souls. So she was not just thinking about herself, she was thinking about everybody who is in the material world. And therefore, he comes himself, and the Lord is always compassionate towards the fallen souls of the material world. And therefore, he comes himself or sends his confidential servants. So here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining this compassionate nature is there in the Lord. And the same quality of Lord Krishna is acquired by the devotees. Because Krishna is called Karuna Sindhu. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandhu Jagatpate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta, Namastute. So Krishna is compassion, ocean of compassion, Karuna Sindhu. So these qualities are automatically trickled down into the devotees. Srila Prabhupada ji was very compassionate, traveled on a Jaladuta to America to distribute the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam for the people of the world. Srila Prabhupada ji writes, since he is perpetually compassionate towards them, if some of his devotees also become compassionate toward them, he is very pleased with the devotees. This is very important. When one distributes Krishna consciousness, Krishna is very happy. Why? Because when we distribute the Krishna consciousness, actually we are distributing out of compassion. That all the people are suffering because of repeated birth and death. So with Krishna consciousness, they will be relieved of this repeated cycle of birth and death. So devotees are very compassionate. And when in the mood of compassion we distribute Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, distribute Krishna consciousness, then Krishna is very pleased. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that persons who are trying to elevate the condition of fallen souls by preaching the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, namely full surrender to personality of Godhead, are very dear to him. This is mentioned in chapter number 12 and then also in 18, where Lord Krishna says in chapter number 18 that one who distributes this Bhagavad Gita is very dear to me, is most dear to me. Thus, when the Lord saw that his beloved mother was very compassionate toward the fallen soul, he was pleased and he also became compassionate towards her. So, here is the thing. So, when we are compassionate and kind towards all living entities, Krishna becomes very happy and Krishna also becomes kind and compassionate. Compassion means that you feel the pain of somebody else in the true sense, not in the external sense. So then you try to help them out, and the best help you can do to anybody is through Krishna consciousness. You can bring them to Krishna, give them Krishna Prashadam, give them Bhagavad Gita, and in this way you can be truly compassionate. Okay? So we will conclude this here today, and we learned in this shloka that Kapila Dev is very much happy with mother's compassionate attitude. Kapila Dev is incarnation of Lord Krishna. So he is very satisfied with Mother Devhuti's question. So similarly, if we are compassionate and if we distribute Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam to people in general, then Krishna will be also very kind and compassionate towards her. Krishna will be very happy to us. So we have to distribute the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.